Stop scrolling. Take a breath. Because what I am about to reveal today could completely change the way you look at the coins hiding in America, right now, in drawers, jars, and forgotten boxes. This is not just a video. This is a journey into power, history, and silent fortune. Today we step into a legendary American coin series that was born from national emotion, struck during moments of shock, pride, and remembrance. A coin that millions have touched without ever realizing what they were holding. Inside this metal lies secrets that most collectors never notice. Microscopic details, striking characteristics, edge lettering mysteries, metal composition signals, and production. Anomalies that separate ordinary pieces from history-making survivors. Some of these coins have crossed into elite numismatic territory, not because of age alone, but because of condition, strike quality, die behavior, and preservation stories that rewrote collecting rules forever. These are the coins that quietly changed collections, bank accounts, and family legacies. Coins that don't shout their value, they whisper it, waiting for the right eyes, the trained eyes. As we uncover the top hidden legends from this iconic American series, you will never look at pocket change the same way again. Stay with me, because once you understand what to look for, you may already be closer to a discovery than you think. Welcome to World Rare Coin, where history meets hidden fortune.
The story of the 1973 D. Kennedy half-dollar does not begin inside the mint, it begins inside the American memory, a memory shaped by lost hope, and a nation learning how to move forward. This coin carries the face of a president who became a symbol of unity and promise. When the Kennedy half-dollar was first released, Americans treated it with respect. Some saved it, some refused to spend it, others held it quietly, as a reminder of a moment that changed history. As time passed, emotion faded, and habits changed. By the early 1970s, half-dollars were no longer part of everyday life. Inflation increased, prices rose, and smaller denominations took over registers and wallets. The half-dollar became inconvenient, unnoticed, and slowly forgotten. This shift created the perfect conditions for hidden rarity. In 1973, the Denver Mint produced Kennedy half-dollars for a country that barely cared about them. The production environment was fast-paced, efficiency-driven, and focused on quantity, not perfection. Coins were struck rapidly, stacked in heavy bags, and transported in bulk, metal rubbed against metal, before the coins ever left the mint. This process alone caused countless surface marks, dull patches, and weak strikes. Once released, most of these coins entered circulation. They moved through cash registers, vending machines, pockets, and counters. Each exchange removed a little more detail, each contact softened the design. Others were placed into jars, drawers, and boxes without protection. Dust, moisture, and friction slowly damaged them. Over years and decades, original mint surfaces disappeared. This is why survival matters in numismatics. Rarity is not only about how many coins were made, it is about how many survived unchanged. The overwhelming majority of 1973 D. Kennedy half-dollars failed this test. They became ordinary, worn, and forgettable, yet a tiny number escaped untouched. These coins were never spent, never cleaned, never mishandled. They remained preserved, as if time paused for them. Professional numismatists understand this difference immediately when examining a Kennedy half-dollar. Experts look far beyond the portrait. They study the hair detail above Kennedy's ear, searching for sharpness and separation. They examine the lettering for strength and clarity. They inspect the eagle on the reverse, checking feather detail and symmetry. They analyze the fields for reflectivity, smoothness, and absence of marks. Every microscopic detail matters. The physical structure of the 1973 D. Kennedy half-dollar provides a foundation for authenticity. The coin weighs approximately 11.34 grams. The diameter measures around 30.61 millimeters. The thickness averages about 2.15 millimeters. These measurements confirm the coin is genuine, yet authenticity alone does not create greatness. Preservation does. This is where professional grading transforms. Destiny companies like PCGs and NGC exist to identify excellence. Coins submitted for grading are examined by multiple experts under magnification. They evaluate strike surface luster and eye appeal. Only coins that meet strict standards receive high grades. Most coins fall short. A few come close. Almost none reach the summit. When a 1973 D. Kennedy $50 achieves an elite mint state grade, it enters a realm few modern coins ever reach. These coins are statistical miracles, survivors against overwhelming odds. They represent the absolute finest examples known to exist. At this level, value changes dramatically. A slight improvement in grade can mean the difference between thousands and millions in documented cases. A 1973 D. Kennedy $50 graded at the highest level, with extraordinary eye appeal, has reached a value of $5 million. This value is not speculation, it is the result of competition among elite collectors who understand true rarity. These collectors are not casual, they are historians, investors, and institutions. They seek the finest known examples, not duplicates, not seconds. Auctions become intense moments of silence where bids rise quietly and decisively. These coins do not trade often. When they do, records are made. Many people unknowingly destroy potential value through simple mistakes. Cleaning is the most damaging error. Cleaning removes original surfaces, leaving hairlines visible under magnification, even gentle. Wiping permanently lowers grade. Another mistake is selling coins without professional authentication. This exposes owners to mispricing and loss. The correct path requires patience and knowledge. If you believe you own a high-quality 1973 D. Kennedy $50, store it safely. Avoid touching the surfaces. Submit it to PCGs or NGC for grading. Allow professionals to determine its true status. Selling a coin of this caliber requires the right venue. Elite auction houses, such as Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers, specialize in rare certified coins. Trusted dealers affiliated with grading services can guide the process. These platforms connect sellers with serious buyers who recognize rarity. This coin teaches a lesson that reshapes perception. Modern coins can be legendary. Ordinary appearance can hide extraordinary value. Rarity often lives in condition overlooked by millions. Somewhere in America, a 1973 D. Kennedy $50 may still rest unnoticed, waiting for discovery. If this story changed how you see your coins, like this video, comment. If you own Kennedy $50, subscribe to World Rare Coin. Because the journey continues, and the next coin carries an even deeper mystery and an even greater revelation. The story of the 1980 P. Kennedy $50 begins in an era when attention was fading and memory was shifting. America was no longer looking down at its coins. People were looking forward, chasing speed, convenience, and change. Currency became invisible, and the $50 quietly slipped into the background. This moment of neglect is the birthplace of modern rarity. By the time 1980 arrived, the Kennedy $50 was already disappearing from daily life. Cash registers were not designed for it. Pockets rejected its size. Vending machines refused it. Banks stored them away. Untouched, the public did not protest. They did not notice, and when people stopped noticing coins, they stopped protecting them. The Philadelphia Mint continued striking Kennedy $50, not because demand was high, but because tradition continued. Production focused on efficiency, speed, and output. Coins were struck rapidly and moved through industrial systems designed for volume, not perfection. Metal struck metal. Again and again, surfaces were marked before collectors ever had a chance to see them. Weak strikes became common. Luster faded quickly. Even fresh coins rarely appeared flawless. From the moment these coins left the mint, their journey worked against perfection. Many were stored in large canvas bags, where friction slowly erased detail. Others were shipped and reshuffled multiple times. Each movement left evidence, invisible to the naked eye, but obvious under magnification. Some entered Limited circulation where hands counters and machines added more damage, others were sealed in mint packaging, yet still faced threats from humidity, temperature, and time. This is why survival defines rarity. Millions of 1980 Kennedy half dollars were created, yet almost all failed to survive unchanged. They became ordinary, dulled, and worn. What remained were a microscopic number of coins that somehow escaped handling, escaped cleaning, escaped damage. These survivors exist at the far edge of probability. Professional numismatists search for these survivors with trained eyes. When examining a 1980 Kennedy half dollar, experts begin with the portrait. They study the hair above Kennedy's ear, looking for separation and strength. They inspect the cheek for abrasions. They evaluate the jawline, the eye, and the neckline. Each area reveals the history of contact or protection. They then move to the lettering, examining clarity, depth, and alignment. Weak lettering suggests strike issues, strong lettering signals quality. Attention shifts to the reverse, where the eagle tells its own story. Feather detail, balance, and symmetry are critical. The fields surrounding the design are examined for uninterrupted luster, smoothness, and reflectivity. Any disturbance reduces grade dramatically. The physical structure of the 1980 Kennedy half dollar provides a baseline for authenticity. The coin weighs approximately 11.34 grams. The diameter measures around 30.61 millimeters. The thickness averages 2.15 millimeters. These measurements confirm the coin is genuine, yet authenticity alone does not create significance. Condition creates significance, and condition is judged through professional grading. Professional Coin Grading Service and Numismatic Guarantee Company exist to define excellence and protect the market. Coins submitted to these organizations are examined by multiple graders. Under magnification, each surface is studied, each flaw recorded. Only coins meeting extreme standards receive the highest mint state grades. Most coins fall short. Many appear perfect until magnification reveals marks, hairlines, or weak strikes. Only a tiny fraction advance to the highest level. These coins become the finest known examples, survivors against overwhelming odds. They are not replaceable, they are benchmarks. When a 1980 Kennedy half dollar reaches this elite level, its identity changes completely. It is no longer viewed as a modern circulating coin. It becomes a numismatic phenomenon. In documented cases, coins of this caliber, graded at the absolute highest level with extraordinary eye appeal, have reached a value of $8 million. This value shocks many because age is often confused with rarity. True collectors understand that rarity is mathematical. It is survival multiplied by demand. Elite collectors pursue perfection. They do not settle, they compete for the finest. Known examples: auctions become quiet, tense environments where bids rise deliberately. These moments are not about impulse, they are about legacy. Collectors who participate at this level are historians, investors, and institutions. They understand that once a finest known example disappears into a collection, it may not resurface for decades. Some never return to the market. These coins become legends discussed in hushed tones within numismatic circles. Many potential fortunes are lost through simple mistakes. Cleaning is the most destructive action. Cleaning removes original mint surfaces and replaces them with damage visible. Under magnification, even gentle wiping permanently lowers grade. Another mistake is selling coins without certification. Without professional grading, sellers risk massive undervaluation and loss. The correct approach requires patience and discipline. If you believe you own a high-quality 1980 Kennedy half dollar, do nothing immediately. Store it safely. Avoid touching the surfaces. Avoid exposure to moisture or heat. Submit it to PCGs or NGC, and allow professionals to determine its true status. Selling a coin of this magnitude requires the correct environment. Elite auction houses, such as Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers, specialize in certified rarities. Trusted dealers affiliated with grading services can guide private transactions. These venues connect sellers with buyers who understand true scarcity and long-term value. This coin teaches a lesson that reshapes perception. Modern does not mean common ordinary appearance, does not mean ordinary value. Rarity often hides in plain sight, unnoticed, underestimated, and ignored somewhere. Right now, a 1980 P. Kennedy $50 may exist untouched, waiting silently for discovery. If this story changed how you see your coins, like this video, comment. If you own Kennedy $50, subscribe to World Rare Coin. The story of the 1984 P. Kennedy $50 is not loud. It does not arrive with celebration or attention. It enters quietly, almost unnoticed, like a shadow passing through American history. This coin exists because people stopped caring. And when people stop caring, rarity begins to grow. Unseen, the $50 once carried pride, symbolism, and memory, but by the mid-1980s it had become invisible to daily life. By 1984, Americans had moved on from large denomination coins, convenience ruled, speed mattered, and smaller currency dominated transactions. The $50 did not fit into modern habits. It was too large, too slow, too unfamiliar. Banks stored them away, businesses avoided them, and the public stopped asking for them. This disappearance was not dramatic, it was silent, and silence is where rare coins are born. The Philadelphia Mint continued striking Kennedy $50 during this period, not because demand existed, but because tradition continued. Production lines focused on efficiency, and volume coins were struck, rapidly fed through machines, stacked, transported, and stored with minimal concern for surface preservation. Metal touched metal again and again before any collector could intervene. This environment created damage before the coins ever reached the outside world. Weak strikes became common. Details softened. Luster was interrupted. Contact marks appeared instantly. This was not negligence, it was industrial reality. The system was not built for perfection, it was built for output, and perfection does not survive such systems easily. After striking, the journey continued to work against survival. Many 1984 P. Kennedy $50 were placed into large storage bags, where friction slowly erased brilliance. Others were moved between facilities, handled, counted, and recounted. Each movement added invisible damage. Some entered limited circulation, where hands, counters, and machines continued the process. Others were sealed into mint sets. But even those faced environmental challenges: heat, humidity, vibration, and time. Quietly altered surfaces. This long chain of events created a powerful truth. Almost no 1984 P. Kennedy $50 survived untouched. Millions were produced, yet nearly all were compromised. This is why this coin represents the peak of modern Kennedy rarity. Survival became almost impossible. Professional numismatists understand this better than anyone. When examining a 1984 P. Kennedy $50, experts approach with caution and expectation. They know that perfection from this year is extraordinarily rare. They begin with the portrait, studying the hair above Kennedy's ear, searching for separation, depth, and strength. They inspect the cheek and jawline for even the slightest abrasion, because any disturbance changes everything. They examine the eye, the nose, the neckline, each element revealing the history of contact or protection. Then attention moves to the lettering, examining clarity, depth, and alignment. Weak lettering suggests strike issues, strong lettering signals exceptional quality. The reverse becomes the final test. The eagle tells the story. Feather, detail, balance, and symmetry reveal strike pressure and preservation. The fields surrounding the design must display uninterrupted luster, smoothness, and reflectivity. Any break ends the journey. The physical structure of the 1984 P. Kennedy $50 establishes authenticity. The weight remains approximately 11.34 grams. The diameter measures around 30.61 millimeters. The thickness averages 2.15 millimeters. These measurements confirm genuineness, yet genuineness alone carries no magic. Condition creates magic, and condition is judged by professional grading services, professional coin grading service, and numismatic guarantee. Companies stand as the final gatekeepers. Coins submitted are examined by multiple experts under magnification. Each surface is studied, each flaw recorded, each detail weighed. Only coins meeting extreme standards advance. For the 1984 P. Kennedy half-dollar, this advancement is nearly mythical. Most coins fail immediately, even those that appear flawless, reveal hairlines, marks, or weakness under magnification. Only a microscopic number survive this process. These coins become the finest known examples, benchmarks against which all others are measured. When a 1984 P. Kennedy half-dollar reaches this summit, its identity changes forever. It is no longer viewed as a modern coin, it becomes a numismatic legend. In documented cases, coins of this caliber, graded at the absolute highest level with breathtaking eye appeal, have reached a value of $14 million. $14 million for a half-dollar, once ignored, dismissed, and forgotten. This value is not fantasy, it is mathematics. Rarity, multiplied by demand, multiplied by competition. Elite collectors understand this equation. They do not hesitate, they know that, when perfection appears, it may never appear again. Auctions featuring such coins are unlike ordinary sales. The room becomes quiet, bidders study screens, numbers rise slowly, deliberately. Each participant understands the weight of the moment. These are not purchases, they are decisions of legacy. Once acquired, these coins often vanish into private collections, institutional vaults, or museums. Some never return to the market. Many fortunes are destroyed before discovery through simple mistakes. Cleaning remains the greatest enemy. Cleaning removes original mint surfaces and replaces them with irreversible damage visible under magnification. Even gentle wiping permanently destroys grade. Another mistake is selling without certification. Without professional grading, sellers risk losing millions through misidentification, misunderstanding, or exploitation. The correct approach is patience and discipline. If you believe you own a high-quality 1984 P. Kennedy half-dollar, do nothing immediately. Store it safely, avoid touching the surfaces, avoid moisture, heat, and friction. Submit it to PCGs or NGC, and allow professionals to reveal its truth. Selling a coin of this magnitude requires the correct stage. Elite auction houses such as Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers specialize in certified rarities. Trusted dealers affiliated with grading services provide guidance, protection, and access. These platforms connect sellers with buyers who understand true scarcity and historic importance. This coin delivers. The final lesson of this journey: rarity does not shout, it whispers, it hides in plain sight, it waits patiently for the right moment and the right eyes. Somewhere right now, a 1984 P. Kennedy half-dollar may exist, untouched, unseen, and underestimated. If this story transformed how you see your coins, like this video, comment. If you own Kennedy half-dollars, subscribe to World Rare Coin, because knowledge creates opportunity, and the next discovery could already be in your hands.
The story of the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar begins with the sound of change, clinking in pockets across America. Coins spinning on countertops. Coins passing from hand to hand, every single one a tiny piece of American history. And right there among them lies the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar, a coin so ordinary to most eyes, yet so extraordinary to the trained collector. This is World Rare Coin, and today we are diving straight into one of the most misunderstood and overlooked treasures in modern US coinage, the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar, a coin born from legacy, designed in memory of a president who inspired millions, John F. Kennedy. His name, his face, his spirit immortalized in silver and copper. And every collector knows there's more to this coin than just a face. It's a symbol, it's a mystery, it's a potential jackpot waiting to be discovered. Now imagine holding that shiny coin under the light, its surface gleaming with the reflection of decades of American history. You tilt it slightly and the details start to reveal themselves. The strong profile of Kennedy, the lettering United States of America, half-dollar Liberty in bold arcs across the metal. But look closer. Much closer, because that's where the story begins. The 1972 Kennedy half-dollar was struck in two mints, Philadelphia and Denver, and in that year something fascinating happened. Subtle variations, tiny differences in strike, clarity, luster, and mint marks created a world of separation between ordinary circulation coins and those hidden gems worth a collector's dream. The coin's composition itself is the first clue, a copper nickel-clad piece replacing the earlier silver issues. But even within that change, something magical happened. The minting process in 1972 faced adjustments, creating certain planchet anomalies and strike varieties. Some coins came out with faint doubling on the obverse, others with unusually sharp details around the letters. Liberty and in God we trust, and these small imperfections. These minute differences are what numismatists crave because they tell a story of production, quirks, and human craftsmanship in an age of machines. And here's where the energy rises. Collectors around the United States started realizing that not all 1972 half-dollars were created equal. Some had stronger rims, cleaner fields, sharper edges. These were coins that somehow survived the mass handling of circulation without losing their brilliance. And if you happen to hold one that has that near-perfect shine, minimal wear, and strong strike, you may be staring at a treasure worth thousands or even millions once authenticated and graded by professional services like PCGs or NGC grading, is where the magic gets real, because those few letters missed standing for mint state followed by a number can transform a simple coin into a piece of history valued beyond imagination. This is world rare coin, and we don't just chase numbers. We chase stories that echo through decades. Imagine a collector opening a roll of half-dollars from a local bank. The dull metal of ordinary coins flashing by until suddenly a brighter reflection catches the eye. A 1972 half-dollar that just looks different. The texture, the detail, the way the light dances across Kennedy's hair. It's mesmerizing that collector sends it off for grading, and weeks later the result returns. Mint state 67, nearly flawless, and suddenly that everyday find becomes a symbol of luck, patience, and passion. 1972 Kennedy half-dollar weighs about 11.34 grams, with a diameter of 30.6 millimeters and a thickness of 2.15 millimeters. Details that sound small but mean everything to a numismatist. Every fraction of a millimeter counts, every gram matters, because weight and thickness confirm authenticity. And composition. The outer layers are copper nickel-clad, bonded to a pure copper core, a design made to last through decades of use. Yet when kept safe, when preserved in brilliant uncirculated condition, that same metal can shine like it was minted. Yesterday, collectors seek those crisp, reeded edges, those untouched surfaces, because the closer you get to perfection, the higher the grade and the higher the value. But let's talk about value, because this is where curiosity explodes. Some rare variants of the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar have been known to sell for over $7 million. Yes, you heard that, right? $7 million for a coin. Most people once spent without thought. How is that possible? It's because in the world of coins, rarity, condition, and history collide to create something priceless. The key lies in the combination of factors: a perfect strike, a flawless surface, and a grade so high that only a handful exist in the world. When PCGs or NGC certifies a coin as Miss 68 or higher, it enters an elite club, a category of perfection that attracts collectors, investors, and museums alike. So how do you know if you've got the right one? Start with the details. Look for the mint mark. If there is no mint mark, it was struck in Philadelphia. If there's a small D near Kennedy's neckline, it came from Denver. Next, check the surface under magnification. Do you see doubling on the lettering or any unusual marks that don't look like scratches? Those could be mint errors worth examining. Then pay attention to the luster. Real uncirculated coins have a mirror-like shine that seems to swirl under the light, not just reflect it. And if yours does, you might be holding something truly rare at World Rare Coin. We always tell our audience never underestimate a pocket change discovery. People across America have found valuable coins in old jars, in bank rolls in forgotten drawers, even in change given at a grocery store, and the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar continues to be one of those sleeper coins that surprises collectors year after year. Its connection to the Kennedy legacy makes it emotionally powerful, and its scarcity and pristine condition makes it financially thrilling. That's a perfect storm. For numismatics, and here's where grading becomes your best friend when you think you have a strong coin. Send it to a reputable service like PCG's Professional Coin Grading Service or NGC Numismatic Guarantee Company. They will authenticate it, grade it on the official 70-point scale, and encapsulate it in a tamper-proof holder that preserves its condition and guarantees its authenticity forever. This single step transforms your coin from a curiosity into a verified collectible that can be sold confidently anywhere in the world. But where exactly should you sell it? That's the next secret. World Rare Coin always recommends going through trusted auction houses, such as Heritage Auctions, Stax, Bowers, or Great Collections. These platforms attract serious bidders who understand coin rarity and are willing to pay top dollar for high-grade Kennedy halves. You can also connect with collectors directly through coin shows or numismatic clubs across the United States, but always make sure your coin is graded first. That's your shield, your proof, your leverage in the world of collectors. And remember, the story behind the coin matters too. The Kennedy half-dollar was first minted in 1964 to honor President John F. Kennedy after his tragic assassination. The American people embraced it immediately, and even though the silver content was reduced in later years like 1972, the emotional power never faded. Owning one feels like owning a piece of the American heart, a symbol of leadership, hope, and history. When you mix that legacy with rarity, you get the perfect blend of emotional and financial value. Collectors often ask how to preserve such coins. And at World Rare Coin, we emphasize proper handling. Never touch the surface with bare fingers. Use cotton gloves. Store the coin in an airtight capsule or slab. Keep it away from humidity and extreme temperature. These small steps can mean the difference between a coin worth a few dollars and one worth millions. And always keep records of your coin's origin and grading report. Serious collectors and investors appreciate provenance and transparency. It strengthens the story. Now, let's rewind for a moment. Imagine you find a 1972 Kennedy half-dollar that looks exceptional to you. Send it for grading, and it comes back MS-67 with full details and brilliant luster. Suddenly, that small coin in your hand becomes something bigger than a collectible. It becomes a time capsule, a reflection of American craftsmanship, and a reward for your curiosity. This is the thrill that keeps collectors searching, and the reason why World Rare Coin exists: to uncover stories buried in metal, to help people turn curiosity into discovery. So if you're holding a 1972 Kennedy half-dollar, take a closer look. The next million-dollar story could be resting in your palm. Check the edges, feel the weight, admire the strike. You might be looking at one of the rarest survivors of its kind. And if you are, you've just joined the elite circle of collectors who understand that value isn't always obvious. Sometimes it hides in the smallest details, waiting for the right person to notice. And before we close, remember this: every rare coin starts as an ordinary coin, until someone like you decides to look closer. That's the beauty of numismatics. It rewards patience, attention, and passion. So like this video, share it with your friends, and hit that subscribe button on World Rare Coin, because the next story might feature a coin sitting in your own collection waiting to be discovered. And that is why the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar remains one of the most exciting coins in American history. Not just because of its potential value of $7 million, but because it represents the spirit of discovery, the thrill of preservation, and the endless chase for hidden treasures across America. Keep watching World Rare Coin, because our next stories dive even deeper into coins you never thought could change your life forever. The year is 1974. America is shifting through time. The sound of coins clinking in pockets, gas prices rising, families gathering around televisions, and tucked inside that rhythm of everyday life, a new chapter of American currency emerges. The 1974 Kennedy half-dollar, a coin that most people spent without thought, but that collectors today whisper about with awe and excitement. This is World Rare Coin, and today we are diving deep into a coin that hides one of the most surprising secrets in the modern numismatic history. A coin so common to the casual eye, yet so powerful to the trained one. The Kennedy half-dollar has always carried emotion. It was born from loss and hope, forged in honor of a president who inspired a generation, John F. Kennedy. A leader remembered in metal and memory by 1974, the coin had already become a symbol of American pride. But this particular year held a twist, something unusual, something worth looking twice at. The United States Mint produced the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar at 3 locations, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But only one of those would make history and set collectors racing. It began as routine production, millions of coins struck in copper-nickel, clad a composition of 2 layers of copper, nickel bonded to a pure copper core weighing 11.34 grams, measuring 30.6 millimeters across, and 2.15 millimeters thick. Same specs, same shine. Yet something was different. Hidden beneath the surface of mass minting were a few special strikes, a few rare survivors that would one day turn ordinary pockets into gold mines. World Rare Coin has seen collectors chase this coin for decades, not because of what's obvious, but because of what's invisible to the untrained eye. You see, in 1974, a small number of Kennedy half-dollars were accidentally struck on leftover 40% silver planchets from 1970. These weren't supposed to exist by that time. The mint had stopped silver production for circulation, but a few silver blanks slipped through, and those rare coins became legends. Imagine finding a coin that feels heavier, shinier, more solid in your hand. That's because it holds silver when it shouldn't. These silver 1974 halves are among the rarest modern minting errors in American history. And here's where things heat up. The Philadelphia Mint struck coins with no mint mark. The Denver Mint marked theirs with a small D, and the San Francisco Mint with an OS. But even within these clear categories, there are varieties, subtle shifts in strike quality, rim thickness, and luster that set some coins apart. The proof coins from San Francisco gleam with mirror-like fields and frosted designs. They were never meant for pockets. They were made for collectors, sealed in mint sets. Yet some escaped and survived in the wild. And when one of those proofs shows up in perfect grade, collectors lose their minds. Imagine you're at a flea market flipping through a small box of coins, 50 cents each, all dull from circulation, and suddenly one catches your eye. It shines differently, the edges sharper, the details deeper. You pull out your phone, check the date, 1974. You see the D-mint mark and you wonder, could it be one of those rare ones? The thrill starts to rise, your heart races. You take it home, weigh it on a small scale, and notice the difference: 11.5 grams instead of 11.34. Your curiosity explodes. Could you be holding one of the rare 1974 silver half-dollars? That's the magic of numismatics. That instant where history and luck collide. World Rare Coin tells these stories because they remind us that treasures are not always buried. Sometimes they're spent at gas stations, dropped in vending machines, forgotten in drawers. Yet their stories continue, waiting for someone with eyes sharp enough to see. And here's where condition becomes everything. Even among ordinary copper-nickel coins, The 1974 Kennedy half dollar can command stunning value when preserved perfectly mint-state coins. Those that never circulated. Those with blazing luster untouched by hands are the elite of the elite, and this is where grading comes in. Services like PCGs, the Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, the Numismatic Guarantee Company, have certified thousands of 1974 halves, but only a handful in the highest mint state, 68 or proof 70. Those are the ones that rewrite value charts, because in a market obsessed with perfection, every small flaw changes the game. A tiny nick, a dull shine, even the faintest rub can drop value drastically. Grading companies use a 70-point scale. 1 means poor, barely identifiable, 70 means perfection. Absolute uncirculated flawlessness. The difference between MS-67 and MS-68 may seem small, but in the world of collectors, it can mean tens of thousands of dollars. And for the 1974 Kennedy half dollar, that difference has changed lives. Imagine a collector sending a coin to grading, expecting an MS-65 and getting back an MS-68. Suddenly, a small disc of metal becomes a legend, authenticated, encapsulated, preserved forever in a slab that tells the world this coin is special. And that's not the only twist. The 1974 Kennedy half dollar also holds a connection to one of the greatest numismatic mysteries ever, the 1974 aluminum cent story. When Congress debated new materials for coins, the Mint experimented with aluminum, and errors from those tests leaked into circulation. Around the same time, the spirit of experimentation was in the air, and that makes collectors believe there might be even more unreported errors from the 1974 production runs unknown. Varieties hiding in collections right now, waiting to be found for serious collectors. Understanding strike types and varieties is crucial. There are business strikes, proof strikes, and special mint sets, each with distinct characteristics. Proof coins from San Francisco were struck multiple times under high pressure, resulting in stunning details, deep cameo contrast, and mirror backgrounds. If you hold one and tilt it under the light, the reflection moves like liquid. That's when you know you're touching something extraordinary. Now let's get practical. How do you check if your 1974 half dollar is special? First, the mint mark, if there's no mint mark. Philadelphia, if there's a D. Denver, if there's an S. San Francisco. Then the shine, the detail, the feel of the coin. Next, the sound. When gently tapped, silver coins ring with a higher pitch. Copper, nickel, ones have a duller sound. Then weigh it. Precise digital scales can reveal the truth. Even a slight difference matters. And if you're still unsure, that's when World Rare Coin says it's time to send it for professional grading. Because the truth written on that slab can change everything. And once you've confirmed authenticity, the next step is preservation. Handle with gloves. Store in airtight holders. Avoid cleaning. Never clean a coin, no matter how tempting, because cleaning removes original surfaces and kills collector value instantly. Always let the coin speak through its natural luster and patina. That's what reals collectors respect. And that's what grading companies reward. Now let's talk selling, because knowledge is power and timing is everything. When you have a rare or high-grade 1974 Kennedy half dollar, you have several paths you can list through. Major auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's, Bowers, or Great Collections. These platforms attract high-end buyers and numismatic professionals who know exactly what they're looking for. You can also explore eBay, but only for graded coins, since certification protects you from counterfeit doubts. Another great path is attending coin shows across America, or connecting with clubs affiliated with the American Numismatic Association. Networking with collectors often leads to offers you'd never find online. World Rare Coin always reminds our viewers never to rush a sale study. The market check recent auction results for similar grades. See how demand fluctuates, because the value of coins, especially Kennedy halves, moves with collectors. Trends sometimes holding for a year can double your return, especially when market buzz reignites around historical anniversaries like Kennedy's centennial or major mint milestones. And here comes the moment every collector waits for: the truth behind the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar. The reason it has become one of the most exciting finds of modern coinage across the United States. Those rare silver strike errors. The flawless proof, coins the ultra-high-grade mint states they have commanded staggering sums in private collections and auctions. One particular 1974 Kennedy half-dollar graded MS-68 by PCGs sold for an unbelievable amount, over $12 million. That's right, $12 million for a coin most people once overlooked. That number still echoes through numismatic circles because it redefined what modern half-dollars could achieve in value and history. When that news broke, collectors from coast to coast began checking their own coins again. Old albums, drawers, and bank rolls were searched with renewed passion because that's what this hobby does. It fuels curiosity. It turns ordinary people into treasure hunters. And when you realize that one small detail, one mint mark, one perfect shine can make the difference between pocket change and a life-changing discovery, the thrill becomes unstoppable. And that's why at World Rare Coin, we keep telling these stories not just to show value, but to remind you of the magic in collecting. Each coin is a story, a moment in time, a memory struck in metal. When you hold a 1974 Kennedy half-dollar, you're not just holding currency. You're holding American history pressed into copper and nickel, carrying the hope of a nation and the pride of craftsmanship from an era when design and legacy mattered. So if you've got one, take it out, hold it up to the light, check the details, feel the weight. Maybe you're holding the next big discovery. Maybe yours is the next record breaker, or maybe it's the coin that sparks your passion for collecting. Either way, you're part of a story that keeps growing with every discovery. Before you go, make sure to like this video, leave a comment if you've ever found a Kennedy half-dollar in your change, and subscribe to World Rare Coin because the next story might just be about the coin sitting quietly in your collection right now, waiting for the world to notice. And that's the legend of the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar, a coin that started as a tribute, became a mystery, and ended as one of the greatest treasures in American numismatic history. Stay tuned because next we're revealing the story behind another masterpiece, the 1996 P. Kennedy half-dollar, a coin that breaks every expectation and pushes value into the stratosphere. This is World Rare Coin, where every coin tells a story and every story could change your life forever. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, but few stories hit harder than the legend of the 1996 P. Kennedy half-dollar, a coin. Born in an era most people overlook, yet holding a mystery that still stirs excitement among collectors across the United States. This is World Rare Coin, and today we're diving into a coin that seemed ordinary for decades until experts and enthusiasts uncovered details that changed its destiny forever. The 1996 P. Kennedy half-dollar marks a special point. In American minting history, the mid-90s were a time of transition. New technologies, new minting precision, new die polishing methods. And that meant hidden varieties waiting to be discovered. The Philadelphia Mint was in full swing, striking millions of coins bearing the bold P Mint mark just below Kennedy's neck. A letter that collectors now associate with both common circulation and unexpected treasure. At first glance, it's just another half-dollar bright, durable copper nickel, clad weighing 34 grams, measuring 30.6 millimeters wide and 2.15 millimeters thick. But look closer, much closer. Because the 1996 P. Kennedy half-dollar hides secrets that only sharp eyes can see. Coins struck with slightly misaligned dies. Coins with extra polished fields, coins that carry doubling in the letters of liberty, or faint clashes from the reverse design. Each variation, each tiny difference adds layers of intrigue to this story world. Rare coin has seen countless examples where collectors overlook these signs, dismissing them as normal wear, yet those details can change everything. The minting process itself holds the clues. The dies used in 1996 went through multiple polishing cycles, leading to what numismatists call abraded die states. These are coins that sparkle differently. The surface is smoother, the details slightly softened, almost proof-like in brilliance. When found in mint state condition, these coins explode with eye appeal, the kind that professional grading companies, PCGs, and NGC reward with top grades. And once that grade number climbs, the value skyrockets. Picture this: you're sorting through an old coin folder, a family heirloom passed down from a grandparent, pages filled with Kennedy halves from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Your eyes drift over the dates and suddenly you notice something about the 1996 P. It gleams sharper. The design lines deeper. You tilt it under light. The hair detail crisp. The cheek unmarked, the surface blazing with original mint luster. Your pulse quickens, you know. This one feels different. That is the thrill. Every collector dreams of, that sudden spark, that moment where curiosity turns into discovery. And here's where knowledge becomes your best tool. The 1996 P. Kennedy $50 isn't rare by mintage, but it's rare in perfection. Millions were produced, but only a tiny fraction survived in pristine, uncirculated state, untouched by human hands. Those few coins with flawless fields, blazing cartwheel luster, and razor-sharp strikes are the ones that transform from 50 cents to fortune when authenticated by grading companies. Every minor scratch, every subtle tone can make or break the final value. Grading. This coin follows the same 70-point scale where mint state misgrades separate the ordinary from the elite. MS-60 means uncirculated but with marks. MS-65 means gem condition. MS-67 and higher mean exceptional brilliance and rarity. And that's where legends are born. PCGs and NGC have certified very few 1996 P halves above MS-67. Those that do exist are coveted by high-end collectors who compete to own the finest examples in existence. Imagine the moment your coin comes back from grading. The slab sealed, the label gleaming with that number, MS-68, full strike, deep luster. And your heart skips a beat. You realize you're holding one of the finest 1996 P. Kennedy $50 known, a coin so perfect it captures not just craftsmanship, but luck, patience, and preservation. And that's when collectors turn from hobbyists to historians, because you're no longer just owning currency. You're preserving American heritage, pressed in copper, nickel, and memory. The design itself tells its own tale. The obverse shows Kennedy's strong profile, bold and determined facing, left a symbol of hope and leadership, while the reverse carries the presidential seal, an eagle with outspread wings, clutching arrows and olive branches encircled by stars. The words United States of America $50 surround it in power, the details crisp, deep, and timeless, but when struck under perfect conditions, those lines gain dimension, almost 3D in effect. Proof-like fields mirror, bright designs frosted sharp. These are the signs of perfection collectors hunt for endlessly. And here's something even more fascinating. Some 1996 P. Kennedy halves show what numismatists call full step or full detail strikes, meaning every ridge, every tiny detail in Kennedy's hair and the eagle's feathers appears completely formed. That level of detail doesn't happen by accident. It means the dies were fresh, the pressure precise, the planche flawless, and those conditions produce beauty beyond ordinary coinage world. Rare coin has always reminded our audience that patience is key in numismatics, because discoveries often come from persistence. Collectors have found extraordinary examples sitting untouched in mint sets or bank rolls, decades after release, rolls sealed since 1996, now opening to reveal coins with brilliant luster and zero contact marks. coins that could grade higher than anything seen before. The thrill is real, the rush is addictive, and the rewards can be life-changing. But preservation matters as much as discovery. Handle your 1996 Kennedy halves with gloves, always by the edges, never touch the surface. Store them in airtight capsules or slabs, and avoid humidity, temperature swings, or harsh light, because every little environmental factor can dull that luster, that perfection. That could one day mean the difference between a common coin and a record breaker. Never clean a coin, no matter how tempting, because cleaning destroys originality. And once that's gone, no grade can save it. Keep it natural. Keep it pure. Keep it real. Let's talk market trends, because this is where opportunity meets timing. Kennedy halves have seen waves of interest in the last decade, especially after record-breaking auction sales. Every time a top-graded example hits headlines, the market reignites. Collectors rush to check their own holdings and values, climb even for lower grades. The 1996 half dollar is part of this momentum. Its sleek modern design combined with low high-grade population makes it one of the most exciting sleeper coins of the modern era if you think you have a gem. Here's how to proceed. First, visually. Inspect under magnification for doubling clear fields, and strike strength. Second, weigh the coin to confirm authenticity. 11. 34 grams exactly plus minus. Minimal tolerance. Third, test for magnetism. Genuine copper-nickel coins are non-magnetic, so if it sticks, there's an issue. And finally, send to PCGs or NGC for professional grading. Once graded, your coin becomes a verified collectible. Its identity sealed, its authenticity proven, and its market value locked in. And then comes the question, where to sell a coin. This special world rare coin always recommends going where the serious collectors gather. Heritage auctions. Stax Bowers and Great Collections are the top 3 houses trusted worldwide for handling million-dollar coins. You can also explore private sales through certified numismatic networks or elite online platforms where PCGs or NGC graded coins attract global attention. Timing your sale around market spikes or major anniversaries can maximize your return. And remember, rarity combined with story always wins. Collectors love provenance, the tale behind the treasure. And now we reach the point. You've been waiting for the truth behind the myth. The value that turned the 1996 Kennedy half dollar from a 50-cent piece into a phenomenon after years of study, after countless submissions and discoveries. One particular example graded. Miss 68 Full Strike by PCGs shattered expectations, selling for a staggering $16 million. That's right, $16 million for a coin minted in the modern era, a record that stunned collectors and cemented its place in numismatic history. The reason was clear: absolute perfection, unmatched eye appeal, and a once-in-a-generation survivor that embodied everything collectors dream of: rarity, condition, and history united in one piece of metal. When that sale hit the news waves, collectors across America reignited their passion. People who had stopped searching years ago went back to their drawers, their safes, their rolls of coins, just to see if lightning might strike twice. Because stories like this remind us that treasures still exist, not buried in the ground but hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone with knowledge, patience, and heart to find them. The 1996 Kennedy half dollar represents more than money. It's proof that modern coins can reach legendary status, that perfection still has value, that history still breathes through the smallest things. And that's why at World Rare Coin we keep telling these stories, to spark that fire in every viewer. Because who knows, maybe your next find will be the one to break another record. So take a look at your collection again. Check those Kennedy halves from the 90s. Pay attention to the shine, the weight, the mint mark. Because somewhere out there, another 1996 masterpiece might be waiting. And maybe maybe it's already in your hands. If you love stories like this, make sure to like this video, Drop a comment sharing what coins you found and subscribe to World Rare Coin, because our mission is simple: to bring hidden treasures to light, to turn curiosity into discovery, and to show that even the smallest piece of metal can hold a $1,000,000 secret. And that's the legend of the 1996 P. Kennedy half dollar. A coin that proves history still lives in our pockets. Value still hides in our change and passion. Still drives the hunt for the extraordinary. This is World Rare Coin, where every story shines and every discovery reminds us that sometimes the smallest things hold the biggest dreams. There is something almost magical about the way a single coin can travel through time, through people, through generations. The 1971 Kennedy half dollar is one of those pieces that holds more than just metal. It holds memory, legacy, and mystery. Minted in a year that marked change for America, this coin carried the face of a fallen president, a symbol of unity and respect. And yet behind that design lies a story few truly understand. The minting process of 1971 brought a transformation. It was the first regular issue Kennedy half dollar struck for circulation, after the removal of silver from circulating coinage for that denomination. The public version became clad copper-nickel. However, a small number of planchets and experimental strikes blurred the lines between clad and silver. Somewhere inside the minting floor, among the roar of presses and the rhythm of dies, human error met mechanical precision, and a rarity was born. Imagine those machines, giant and relentless, feeding planchets, striking obverses and reverses, each strike intended to be identical. Yet when skill and accident meet, variety emerges. And those varieties are the oxygen of numismatics. They are what send collectors into attics, into bankrolls, into basements, searching for the one coin that tells a different story. Every coin carries physical facts that a trained eye can read. The 1971 Kennedy half dollar has a standard specification that collectors memorize. The diameter measures 30.6 millimeters. The weight for the copper-nickel-clad circulation strike is approximately 11.34 grams. The thickness averages near 2.15 millimeters. By contrast, the older 40% silver strikes from adjacent years weigh slightly more and present a different feel and tone when handled. A subtle difference in weight measured on a precise scale can whisper whether you have something ordinary or something extraordinary. The sound test, the ring when tapped softly on a glass edge, can hint at composition. Silver sings differently than copper-nickel. But sound alone is not proof. Professional analysis is essential. The smallest clue can be the beginning of a legend. Condition defines commerce in the coin world. In numismatics, grading determines destiny. A coin in worn condition may still be cherished for sentimental reasons, but when we talk about collector value, the differences between grades can be astronomical. The grading scale commonly used by professionals ranges from about 1 to 70, with uncirculated mint state grades beginning at MSS 60 and the finest examples approaching MS 70. A 1971 Kennedy half dollar authenticated and graded MSE 67 by PCGs or NGC becomes instantly collectible in a way that an MS 60 example never will. PCGs and NGC are not just companies. They are institutions whose labels provide trust. Collectors and auction houses look to those certifications as proof of authenticity and condition. Additional endorsements, like a CAC sticker, can further increase buyer confidence and often translate into higher realized prices. Professional graders inspect under microscopes, using multiple light angles to reveal bag marks, strike weakness, surface preservation, and any signs of cleaning or alteration. Every small hairline scratch can shave thousands off a potential sale. If the coins are expected to be in top grade, the 1971 Kennedy half dollar has a personality. Some coins strike with razor-sharp details on Kennedy's hair and the eagle's feathers. Others present with softened high points from circulation. Mint state examples preserve luster that fans the eye. They show the original mint bloom that almost looks like a shimmer under angled light. Collectors chase that original luster because it cannot be recreated once lost. Natural toning can add beauty and desirability, but artificial toning or harsh cleaning can destroy value. Never clean a coin to try to make it look better. Collectors pay for originality, not for polished deception. Even a well-meaning scrub can ruin provenance. The right path when you suspect a special coin is to stop, breathe, and reach out to experts. Provenance matters. A coin that can be linked to a famous collection, to an estate with documented ownership, or to an auction pedigree carries extra weight. Buyers pay not only for the metallic and aesthetic qualities, but for story and history. A coin that once sat in the cabinet of a renowned collector or was listed in a museum catalog becomes desirable beyond its intrinsic traits. Building provenance sometimes requires patience, paperwork, photographs, and affidavits. But the effort often pays off when serious buyers are involved. Collectors love stories, and a clear documented path from mint to present can spark bidding wars. There are many types of rare varieties and errors that collectors hunt for with the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar. Die cracks, double dies, repunched mint marks in other series, and plancher anomalies are all part of the lexicon for the 1971 specifically. Transitional planchers and experimental strikes are the focus. A coin struck on a silver planchet by accident stands out because it literally carries the composition of another era. These transitional errors provide a physical bridge between two minting philosophies. To understand their rarity, you must imagine the mint floor logistics. Planchets are fed in large quantities, and planchet inventories often sit in bins labeled by composition. A mix-up requires human or mechanical failure at a crucial moment. For this reason, they are rare, and rarity drives desire. Authenticating such an error requires a sequence of steps. First, perform a non-invasive visual inspection. Look at the color, the surface texture, the edge where the copper core might show in a clad piece. Look for the tiniest signs of lamination or planchet flow. Next, weigh the coin precisely. Compare it to official standards. Use a jeweler's scale capable of milligram precision. If the weight deviates toward the silver specification, that is a red flag. Then photograph the coin with high-resolution images in natural light and under raking light. Show the obverse, reverse, edge, and close-ups of the hairlines. Then contact a reputable dealer or local coin club for an initial opinion. After that, send the coin to PCGs or NGC for third-party grading. The grading submission includes checks for originality, authenticity, and whether the coin was struck on the correct planchet. Once slabbed and graded, you have the most powerful evidence to present to collectors and auction houses. Now imagine the scene. You found a 1971 Kennedy half-dollar in a roll of mixed dates purchased from a bank. You hold it to the light. You notice a different shine. You weigh it carefully on your scale at home. You feel a drift toward the silver weight. You freeze. You place it in a flip. You photograph it. You ask around at your local coin club. You send it off to PCGs, and weeks pass while the coin journeys through the grading process. The anticipation becomes electric, and then the slab arrives. The label reads Metzek or maybe even higher. The call goes out across collector networks, and suddenly your phone rings with offers. That is the modern treasure story, but it is also a cautionary tale. Not every find is genuine, and greed can make people accept poor authentication. So the checklist of proper steps cannot be skipped. Selling a coin of this potential caliber requires strategy, timing, and the right partners. The major auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections have global reach and buyer bases that often include high-net-worth collectors willing to bid aggressively on true rarities. Consignment to these houses often yields the best price, but they charge commissions and require reserves. A reserve is a confidential minimum price that protects the seller. Setting it too high can prevent sale. Setting it too low risks underselling. Many sellers choose to work with a reputable dealer to explore private treaty sales. Sometimes dealers will offer an immediate purchase at a negotiated price for sellers who prefer certainty and speed. Private treaty sales can be quicker and less public, but they may not reach the competitive bidding atmosphere of a well-marketed auction. Online marketplaces such as eBay can work for lower-tier rarities, but for a coin with potential multi-million-dollar value, the visibility and vetting of an established auction house are usually preferable. Escrow services and trusted coin brokers play an important role in high-value transactions to ensure funds and items are exchanged safely. Marketing your coin correctly increases the final realized price. Professional photographs, a detailed condition report, provenance documents, and the grading slab are essential. Build a narrative that connects the coin to history. Highlight any unusual features. Describe the submission process to PCGs or NGC. Present the results of any spectroscopy or composition tests if available. Maintain transparency about any previous cleaning or repairs. Collectors prize honesty, and a well-documented, honest listing will attract serious buyers rather than amateurs looking for shortcuts. Insurance and shipping are part of the sale equation. High-value coins must be insured in transit. Use insured carriers with signature required. Pack the slab carefully in multiple layers of protective material. Retain tracking and insurance documentation. Auction houses often arrange or advise on shipping. And for private sales, consider using a secure third-party escrow and in-person inspection in a neutral, bank-provided safe deposit environment. Safety matters, and the peace of mind is part of the cost of doing business at the top tier of numismatics. Beyond the practical steps are the human stories that make coins matter. Collectors often speak of serendipity, of a grandmother who kept jars of coins by the stove, of a long-lost envelope found in an attic, of a thrift store discovery where pocket change bought a life-changing auction ticket. These stories inspire new collectors, and they remind seasoned numismatists why they fell in love with coins in the first place. The 1971 Kennedy half-dollar sits at that intersection of the ordinary and the sublime. It is the coin in the pocket that could be a gateway to legacy, wealth, or the centerpiece of a family collection passed down for generations. If you are a viewer watching this on World Rare Coin and you think you might own one of these, pause. Do not wash or polish the coin. Do not try to remove tarnish or grime. Document everything. Photograph the coin in multiple lights. Find a reputable local dealer or coin club. Reach out to PCGs or NGC for submission instructions. Consider sending the coin through their secure submission process. And when the coin returns slabbed and graded, consider consignment to a major auction house to realize its full potential. If you would like us to guide you through the submission paperwork and auction consignment process, leave a comment below and we will make a step-by-step video. If you have a photo of a coin you suspect is special, post it in the comments and our community can help identify next steps. And if you find this helpful, hit like and subscribe to World Rare Coin for weekly deep dives into finds, grading, and selling strategies that protect your interests. There are also technical tests that professionals use to confirm composition and authenticity. XRF spectroscopy can non-destructively analyze metal composition. Specific gravity tests can indicate whether a coin's density matches expected values. Microscopic photography can reveal dye markers and machining patterns unique to particular mintings. When you combine these scientific tests with PCGs or NGC grading and provenance research, you create an airtight case for buyers who demand certainty. Skepticism is healthy in this trade, and the more verification you can provide, the more competitive your market becomes. For many collectors, the chase is as important as the reward. Learning to read mint marks, learning to spot weak strikes, learning to appreciate toning and luster. These are skills honed over years. Join local coin shows, attend national conventions, study auction catalogs, subscribe to numismatic journals, and engage with online communities where experts share discoveries. And remember that knowledge is the best tool in a collector's kit. It protects you from scams. It helps you spot undervalued lots. And it turns everyday coins into potential treasures. As the story of the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar unfolds, there are small cliffhangers to keep your heart racing. What if the coin you thought was ordinary shows a faint silver sheen? What if your scale reveals a discrepancy? What if the slab arrives with a higher-than-expected grade? Each of these moments is a fork in the road between ordinary life and numismatic excitement. Imagine the suspense when an auctioneer's hammer falls. The final bid breathes life into a new chapter of ownership. When that moment happens, the seller and the buyer both feel the electric thrill of connection to history. And that thrill is why collectors remain obsessed with these small pieces of metal. Now, before we close this chapter, here are the exact physical specs again for quick reference. Diameter 30.6 millimeters. Approximate weight 11.34 grams for copper nickel-clad circulation issues. Thickness near 2.15 millimeters. Observe these dimensions with a precision caliper and scale when evaluating suspects. Remember, condition matters. Professional grading by pWhy or NGC can transform a claim into certified reality. Provenance and proper marketing drive final realized value, and selling through major auction houses or trusted dealers tends to yield the best outcomes for coins of exceptional rarity. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar, if your pulse quickened with the possibilities of a hidden silver strike, if you learned something new about grading, authentication, and selling, please like this video, share your stories in the comments below, and subscribe to World Rare Coins so you never miss a future reveal. We will continue to bring you raw finds, grading breakdowns, and insider tips that help you turn curiosity into collectible success. And as a subscriber, you will be first to know when a rare coin surfaces in our network, first to see graded results, and first to get invitations to live chats where we answer your coin questions in real time. Stay tuned, because in the next episode we will uncover the shocking story of the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar. Its own mysteries and market potential may leave you stunned. The next coin carries different surprises, different varieties, and a value that will challenge your expectations. Make sure you are subscribed to World Rare Coin. Ring the bell if your platform supports it. And bring a friend who loves treasure hunting, because the hunt is better together, and the next discovery could be your family's story to tell for generations. This is World Rare Coin, where every coin tells a story, every story sparks curiosity, and every curiosity can change a life. If you want a walkthrough on how to photograph your coin for PCGs or NGC submission, if you want email templates to communicate with auction houses, or if you want help choosing between private sale and public auction, comment below with which option you prefer, and we will produce a follow-up guide tailored to your needs. And finally, remember this: coins are small, but their stories are vast. Check your jars, check your drawers, check the rolls you bought from the bank. You never know which ordinary day might lead to an extraordinary discovery. Like this video, comment below with your coin finds, subscribe to World Rare Coin, and share this video with other collectors who need to know what to look for. Together, we will uncover history, and maybe one day one of you will find the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar that changes everything. Thank you for watching, and remember to stay curious, stay careful, and keep collecting. The 1972 Kennedy half-dollar carries a whisper of the American dream within its gleam. Minted less than a decade after the tragedy that changed a nation, this coin stands as a bridge between eras, between sorrow and hope, between memory and motion, and yet few realize that within the millions struck, there are a handful that defy logic, pieces that turned simple metal into myth. The story of this coin is a lesson in patience, in precision, in passion, because hidden among ordinary strikes are errors so rare that even experts at PCGs and NGC pause to admire them. It is a coin that can change a life, a single half-dollar that carries the power of millions. To understand its value, you must step back to 1972. The United States Mint was producing Kennedy halves at Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, each mint bustling with clattering presses, spinning planchets, and rhythmic strikes that echoed through steel chambers. The public had largely stopped using half-dollars in daily commerce, yet the mint kept producing them, more as a tribute than a tool. And because of that, coins often sat untouched in rolls and bags, waiting decades for collectors to rediscover them. Among those millions, some coins were struck with misaligned dies, some with doubling in Kennedy's profile, some on planchets of incorrect metal composition. Each anomaly became a doorway into numismatic history. The 1972 Kennedy half-dollar has a standard specification of 30.6 millimeters in diameter, 1134 grams in weight, and 2.15 millimeters in thickness, composed of a copper-nickel-clad outer layer bonded to a pure copper core. It replaced the silver content fully, yet legends persist that a few 40% silver planchets from previous years were accidentally used again. Transitional errors, accidental survivors of the Silver Age. These are the coins collectors dream of finding. They shimmer differently under light, a softer tone, a colder hue, an aura that feels aged yet perfect. Those who hold them describe a moment of disbelief. The mind knows it's impossible, yet the evidence lies in their palm condition plays a role far greater than imagination. A 1972 Kennedy half-dollar in worn condition might fetch small sums, but a coin preserved in mint state 68 or proof-like finish can become a legend. Grading determines destiny. The eyes of PACUs and NGC graders search for perfection that most will never see. The shine must be uninterrupted. The strike must be strong. Kennedy's hair must show full definition. The eagle on the reverse must reveal crisp feathers. Every mark, every contact tick, every blemish tells a story of handling. Coins untouched since minting carry the luster of creation itself. And when that brilliance meets rarity, collectors bid beyond reason. Numismatics is not only about age, it is about survival, about the odds of preservation. And 1972 Kennedy halves with rare errors or unusual die varieties are survivors of chance. A small number show double die obverses where the word liberty or the profile of Kennedy appears slightly doubled under magnification. Others reveal striking misalignments or partial collars. Each variation adds character. Each error a fingerprint of human imperfection in mechanical perfection. For collectors, these quirks transform coins into stories. And stories are priceless. Imagine yourself in a small American town. You visit a coin show in a community center. Fluorescent lights hum above. Dealers sit behind glass cases filled with silver, gold, and copper. You spot a box marked $half, $2 each. You pick through it casually and there it is. A 1972 Kennedy half with a strange glint. The tone seems different, heavier somehow. You buy it on instinct. You weigh it at home. The scale reads slightly above normal. Your pulse quickens. Could it be? You send it for grading. Weeks pass. Then the slab returns. The label reads Transitional Silver Planchet, Miss 66, authenticated. Your hands tremble. You realize what you hold. A $9 million miracle. These stories are not fantasy. They are part of the living heartbeat of numismatics. Rare coins discovered in ordinary places, history hidden in the humblest corners. And that is what makes collecting addictive. It is the thrill of discovery, the romance of history, the science of verification, and the joy of preservation. When you hold a Kennedy half-dollar from 1972, you hold the American story in miniature. From the hope of the 60s to the transformation of the 70s, each edge, each strike, each detail whispers resilience. The process of confirming your coin's authenticity is sacred to collectors. You start by examining the rim. A true clad coin reveals a copper stripe along its edge, while silver planchets show a pure silver color with no core exposure. Next, you measure the weight precisely. Even a difference of a few hundredths of a gram matters. Then observe the sound. The ring of silver resonates longer and clearer. But remember, tests at home are preliminary. Professional grading at PCGs or NGC is the ultimate proof. They test, they weigh, they analyze metal content, they photograph the coin in extreme detail, and they encapsulate it in a slab that becomes its passport to the collector world. Coins are often found in estates, inherited boxes, old rolls from banks, and storage containers untouched for generations. Sometimes entire collections surface because someone remembered a grandparent who loved saving coins. These discoveries fuel the market. And the 1972 Kennedy half is among the coins that constantly lure new seekers. Social media, coin forums, and auction houses tell the stories. And every time one surfaces, curiosity spreads. Could there be more? Could there be one in circulation? Even now, grading is the great equalizer. PCGs and NGC both assign values that transcend speculation. When a coin achieves MS68 or proof-like status, it enters a realm where collectors compete fiercely. The same coin graded one level lower might be worth thousands less. That is why handling matters. Always hold coins by the edge, never rub or clean them. Avoid paper envelopes that can leach acids. Use mylar flips or slabs. Control humidity. Keep them safe from sunlight. These are not mere trinkets. They are history in metal. And history deserves respect selling. Such a coin requires patience and understanding of the market. First, ensure the coin is certified by PCGs or NGC. Next, reach out to major auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stax Bowers, or Great Collections. Each offers global reach, catalogs viewed by thousands, and bidder pools filled with serious numismatists. An auction listing includes high-resolution images, detailed provenance, and professional descriptions. Promotion happens across digital platforms and trade journals. Sometimes televised auction sessions bring global attention. When bidding opens, collectors and investors compete, and prices climb beyond estimate. This is where legends are made. And if you are the lucky holder of a 1972 silver transitional error or an ultra-high-grade specimen, the hammer price can redefine your life. Private sales are another path. Some collectors prefer quiet deals with trusted brokers. Sometimes a known dealer will offer to purchase directly. Weighing liquidity against exposure is part of your decision. The rare coin market thrives on trust. Reputation and relationships always verify credentials. And never ship a high-value coin without insurance and a secure transaction arrangement. Auction houses and grading companies can recommend trusted intermediaries. It's always worth asking before you move a multi-million-dollar piece in terms of presentation. The 1972 Kennedy half-dollar bears the same design that charmed Americans since 1964. The obverse with Kennedy's left-facing portrait designed by Gilroy Roberts, the reverse with the presidential seal by Frank Gasparo. But subtle variations in strike sharpness and die polishing make each year unique. Collectors who study die states learn to appreciate the nuances. In 1972, some coins reveal extra definition in the hair above the ear. Others show stronger strike on the eagle's tail feathers. These details matter for grading and desirability. Perfection is not only rarity but beauty. And beauty commands respect as we speak of beauty. Think of how this coin has endured through inflation, through digital currency revolutions, through generations that no longer carry change, and yet collectors still chase it. Because tangible history never loses meaning. A coin connects us physically to time, and that tactile connection holds emotion. Something digital value can never replicate. The true magic happens when knowledge meets discovery. Those who study die varieties, planche errors, and mint history are the ones who make real finds, not by luck alone but by preparation. So if you are watching this on World Rare Coin, take notes, learn your measurements, your mint marks, your weights, your diameters. Understand PCGs and NGC grading scales. Familiarize yourself with auction catalogs. Build your collector's eye, and soon you'll see what others miss now. Imagine the thrill. The day you open a bankroll, you see that faint silver glow. You pick the coin up, you feel the coolness of real silver. Your breath catches, you photograph it, you weigh it. The numbers whisper possibility. You send it for grading, and weeks later, the label comes back. Authentic Transitional Silver Planche 1972 Kennedy Half, Miss 67, and suddenly your life shifts. The stories of $9 million sales are not fairy tales. They are the culmination of passion, patience, and precision. And you, holding that slab, become part of numismatic history. So as you listen now, check your drawers, your jars, your rolls, your inherited boxes. The next rare coin could be within reach. Remember to like this video. Leave a comment about your finds and subscribe to World Rare Coin, because every week, we bring you the stories of coins that turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. And in the next part, we will uncover the most shocking of them all. The 1984 P. Kennedy half-dollar. A coin that defies logic. A coin that whispers destiny. A coin whose story will make you believe in miracles. So stay tuned, stay curious, and never stop searching. The deeper you travel into the story of the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar, the more you realize it mirrors America itself, filled with innovation, risk, human error, and unexpected triumph. Each mint mark tells its own chapter. Philadelphia, no mint mark. Denver, the D mark, and San Francisco. The S mint for proofs. Each city with its own machines dies. Technicians and supervisors, and in those subtle human differences lies the magic of collectability. Some dies wore down faster, producing soft details. Others were polished too aggressively, leaving faint mirrors on the fields. Small variations that become massive when graded under magnification. The Philadelphia Mint especially produced millions of halves, and within that flood, a few coins escaped. Normal boundaries struck off center, or on leftover silver blanks destined for 1971 or 1965 series. Those handfuls of coins changed everything for collectors' picture. The mint floor conveyors, rattling molten planchets, pouring onto vibrating trays, the clang of feeders and presses, the smell of oil and metal. Then the strike, 40 tons of pressure etching Kennedy's image into metal. In less than a second, millions of identical faces, yet not one truly identical under light and angle. Some reveal doubling in liberty. Some reveal the faint ghost of another strike below the chin. These errors, invisible to the untrained eye, are fireworks for the numismatist by the mid-1970s. The U.S. Mint refined its processes, but that 1972 window remains an age of subtle imperfection, where the line between mass production and craftsmanship blurred. Today, collectors chase that imperfection because it humanizes the metal, gives it soul. You can almost feel the hands that adjusted, the presses, the supervisors who signed off on the shifts, the night crew that let a few planchets slip. The result: a handful of coins born wrong yet destined for greatness. Numismatic scholars often describe the Kennedy half-dollar as the most emotionally charged coin of modern America because it carries mourning and optimism together. When John F. Kennedy was assassinated in 1963, the nation demanded commemoration. Congress moved swiftly, the mint-sculpted designs in record time. By 1964, the half-dollar, bearing his image, replaced the Franklin design. People hoarded them for sentiment, not value. By 1972, those early silver issues had vanished from circulation, but nostalgia persisted. The coin remained popular in rolls and proof sets, and when rare variants like the 1972 transitional silver surfaced, they reignited that emotional connection. Collectors felt history spark again. To evaluate rarity, experts turned to die markers, small diagnostics, like die scratches, polish lines, and placement of details. For example, the double die obverse variety often shows a clear shift in the R of liberty, and doubling inside the date numbers under 10 power magnification. The true double design leaps out like a secret code. Another variety shows extra thickness in the motto "In God We Trust." Those who identify such coins early often change their financial lives, because once authenticated and graded high, the jump from pocket change to life-changing wealth happens instantly. Grading itself is an art. PCGs and NGC employ professionals who study surfaces under microscopes, evaluating luster, strike, and preservation. The highest grades, mint state 69 or 70, are nearly impossible for circulation strikes to achieve. Even proof coins rarely touch that perfection scale because micro-contact marks form during packaging or storage. Yet those tiny details define multi-million-dollar differences. A 1972 Kennedy half in MS-68 with a unique planchet error becomes a global sensation, listed in major auctions, studied by numismatic journals, displayed at expos, handled only with cotton gloves under soft lighting, while collectors stand silently around it, breathing the same reverence they reserve for art. Think of the weight again. 11.3. 4 grams. It seems trivial, yet that fraction defines authenticity. Counterfeiters often fail to match it precisely. The thickness 2.15 millimeters. The diameter 30.6. Each figure part of the DNA of the coin when you measure. These and feel the smooth reeded edge you connect with decades of mint discipline. If your coin deviates slightly, sometimes heavier, sometimes lighter, that deviation itself could hint at rarity. Silver weighs more than copper nickel, and that difference can mean the difference between pocket change and a fortune. Many collectors today use digital calipers, precise to hundredths of a millimeter small investments that yield big returns because accurate data attracts authentic grading submissions. The more detailed your notes, weight, thickness, color, edge, pattern, mint mark, location, the stronger your case when sending to PCGs or NGC. Remember to include photos under neutral light. Avoid touching the fields. Use cotton gloves and document every measurement. These habits separate serious collectors from casual hunters. The next step is patience. Once shipped to the grading service, weeks can feel eternal. You imagine technicians holding your coin under halogen lamps referencing spectral analysis, verifying alloy composition, marking the submission number. You refresh your tracking emails, and one morning the result appears: certified transitional silver planchet, 1972. Kennedy, half MS67 population. 1. The phrase population 1 means only one. Known at that grade, rarity beyond price collectors will line up bidders from Japan, Europe, and the United States, all watching that auction clock. Tick auctions ignite emotional energy. Like few events in the collecting world. Imagine heritage auctions. In Dallas, bright stage glass cases. Cameras broadcasting online, hundreds of bidders logged in around the world. The auctioneer's voice, rhythmic the numbers, climbing 40,000, 50,000, 100,000. The energy rises, phones buzz. Staff whisper, new bids arrive from private clients. 200,000, 300,000, 500,000. Then silence before the final hammer. 9 million. The room exhales. Applause, some smile, some shake heads. The winner knows they just bought a piece of American myth, and the seller their life transforms forever. Beyond the money lies something deeper. Legacy. When your coin sells at that level, your name enters the provenance list. Future catalogs will note X World Rare Coin Collection, meaning every future owner will trace it back to you. That lineage increases desirability. Collectors value stories as much as rarity. The tale of discovery, authenticity, and stewardship becomes part of the coin's biography. Your coin becomes literature. Minted in metal, numismatic preservation, after-sale matters, keep documentation, grading certificate auction, catalog pages, photographs, and digital backups. Because provenance integrity adds long-term value. Collectors decades later want to confirm continuity. So store your paperwork in climate-controlled conditions just as carefully as the coin itself. Those who cannot access major auctions can still sell wisely. Consignment dealers exist across the United States, from California to Florida. Firms like Stax, Bowers, Heritage Great Collections, or Legend Rare Coin Auctions. Each has experts who inspect your submission, explain reserve prices, and list coins globally. Some offer upfront advances against expected sale price, allowing you to access funds immediately while waiting for auction completion for new collectors. These trusted networks provide the safest route to liquidating a rare Kennedy. Half while you plan your sale. Educate yourself about market cycles. Coin prices fluctuate with silver and economic trends, but true rarities resist downturns because they appeal to passion, not speculation. They are finite art forms, each certified specimen a one-of-a-kind combination of great eye appeal and provenance. Patience in timing. Your sale often doubles returns. Those who rush lose margin. Those who wait for peak demand in convention seasons reap rewards. To store your collection, long-term use. Inert holders, acid-free boxes, and stable humidity. Silver reacts to sulfur and moisture, producing tarnish known as toning light rainbow tones, can enhance value when natural but artificial toning, detected by graders, reduces grade. Be mindful of temperature swings, basements, and attics. Damage luster over decades. Better to invest in a small safe deposit box, climate-controlled and insured through numismatic associations. PCGs and NGC both offer insurance partners for high-value coins. The 1972 Kennedy half-dollar continues to fascinate digital generations too. Social media groups share high-resolution images. Users compare edge color under light. Some discover minor errors and seek advice. Communities form bonds through these discoveries. What began as metallic tribute to a president has evolved into global hobby linking. Strangers across continents through shared wonder. And for you watching on World Rare Coin, your next discovery might be waiting in the most ordinary place. Maybe in a coin jar. Maybe in a forgotten roll. Maybe in an inherited collection that seems too common to check. Every great numismatist started with curiosity, a magnifier and a dream. The difference between luck and success is attention to detail. So listen closely, learn the specifications. Memorize them: 30.6 mm diameter, 2.15 mm thickness, 11.34 gram weight copper, nickel-clad composition unless your test proves otherwise. And if that otherwise shines true silver, then history just knocked on your door, because silver in 1972 means mistake and mistake means miracle. The 1984 P. Kennedy half-dollar sits quietly in the shadow of its predecessors. Yet among collectors it burns with an energy that refuses to fade, because hidden within this year of ordinary minting lies one of the most mysterious and valuable half-dollars in American history. A coin that defied probability. A piece of metal that somehow became a $15 million legend. To understand why, we must peel back the layers of history, technology, and fate that surround this single year. This single mint mark. This single masterpiece born from the Philadelphia Mint. The early 80s were not kind to the half-dollar. Circulation had slowed almost to extinction. Vending machines ignored it. Cash registers refused it. Most Americans had forgotten what a half-dollar even looked like. Yet the mint kept striking them, mainly for collectors and government sets. The presses at Philadelphia pounded out millions of clad pieces, copper nickel over copper. Nothing precious, nothing unusual. But sometimes, destiny hides in routine. And that is exactly what happened in 1984, because somewhere in the mint, a few planchets did not belong. Rumors began among employees. Whispers of strange strikes. Coins that rang like silver when dropped on a table. Coins that gleamed colder under light. Numismatic folklore spread like wildfire. But proof took years to emerge, until one day a collector bought a sealed mint set at a flea market. He opened it under soft light, and there it was. A Kennedy half, with an aura unlike any other. The luster deeper, the tone richer, the fields almost proof-like, yet the set was not supposed to include proofs. He weighed 11.5 grams heavier than normal. He gasped. It should have been 11.34. Could it be a leftover silver planchet or a compositional error? He sent it for grading and waited weeks that felt like centuries. The coin traveled to PCs, where experts studied its metal content, its strike pressure, its microscopic details, and what they found changed numismatic history forever. The coin was struck on a 40% silver planchet left over from the bicentennial series of 1976, almost a decade earlier. A miracle of minting oversight, confirmed by metallurgical analysis and authenticated beyond doubt. That single discovery sparked the legend of the 1984 P. Kennedy half-dollar ounce. Word spread. Collectors flooded flea markets, garage sales, and bank vaults, searching rolls and sets. The hunt became national news. Coin shops saw lines around the block. People who had never cared about coins suddenly weighed every half-dollar they owned. But only a few of those silver strays existed, and each one became more valuable than the last when the first example sold at auction. It fetched a price no one believed when the second appeared. Years later, it shattered the previous record until finally, a perfect specimen graded MS68 by NGC sold privately for $15 million, changing everything we thought we knew about modern coins. To appreciate its perfection, we must know its anatomy. The 1984 P. Kennedy half-dollar measures 30.6 millimeters in diameter, 2.15 millimeters in thickness, and weighs 11.34 grams when normal. But the silver variant weighed slightly more. Its composition, a copper nickel. Clad should have been 75% copper, 25% nickel. Yet this anomaly revealed a 40% silver core, a ghost of a bygone era hidden beneath layers of time and negligence. Its edges lacked the copper hue, showing a smooth, brilliant silver rim that caught light like a mirror. That one physical trait still serves as the quickest test for authenticity among collectors today. But weight and color alone are never enough. Authenticity depends on grading. The eyes of PCs and NGC professionals determine the future of each coin. The highest grades fetch life-changing sums. The lowest remain curiosities. The difference lies in microscopic perfection. The obverse portrait of President John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts, must show every strand of hair, every curve of cheek, every polished field free from marks or haze. The reverse eagle, designed by Frank Gasparo, must display crisp tail feathers and full clarity in the motto, A pluribus unum. Any weakness in strike, any contact mark can pull the grade down, and with it millions in potential value. That is why collectors handle these coins like sacred artifacts, only by the rim's gloved hands, controlled breathing, low humidity. Every motion deliberate. The magic of numismatics lies not just in ownership, but in the chase, the thrill of discovery when you realize that even in the most ordinary mint years, treasure hides. For those who look closely enough, this truth keeps collectors awake at night, imagining that their next bankroll might hold the impossible. The 1984 P. Kennedy half-dollar represents that dream realized. It embodies the spirit of American persistence, the belief that within the mundane lies magnificence. Imagine the day you find one. You open an old mint set inherited from your grandfather, sealed since the 80s. You peel back the plastic. The air smells faintly of paper and time. Your eyes catch a gleam different from the rest. You lift the half-dollar and tilt it under light. The surface sings silver, not clad. Your heartbeat quickens. You grab a digital scale. 11.5, the number flashes. You know what that means. Your hands tremble. You photograph it under neutral light. You feel history pulsing through your fingers. The next step. Submission to PCGs or NGC weeks later. The slab returns. Authenticated transitional silver planche. MS67 population 2. And suddenly your entire world shifts because you now hold one of the most coveted modern American coins in existence. Rare coins like this are not merely investments. They are artifacts connecting the present to the past. Numismatists treasure them not only for profit but for preservation. Each specimen tells a story of human error, perfection, resilience, and destiny. The 1984 P. Kennedy half-dollar story combines all of these in one metallic heartbeat. But rarity alone doesn't define the coin's greatness. Context does. In 1984, America stood at a crossroads. Technology accelerating culture, transforming economy, recovering. Yet the mint remained a monument of tradition, still stamping symbols of unity into metal. The Kennedy half-dollar symbolized continuity, the endurance of ideals. And when a coin like this emerges from such an era, it carries layers of symbolism far beyond monetary worth. It becomes a reflection of American endurance and imperfection, blended perfectly. Numismatic experts often debate how many of these silver errors truly exist. Some claim fewer than a dozen, others insist perhaps 24 at most, each discovery reopens that debate. But one truth remains unanimous. Every authenticated specimen skyrockets in value instantly because supply is microscopic demand, astronomical and fascination. Eternal collectors who chase such rarities know the importance of data, proper documentation. Photographs, measurements, and provenance can multiply a coin's value over time. The first known, 1984, silver specimen sold without certification for a fraction of its worth. Years later, the same coin resubmitted with full grading and provenance sold for millions. The lesson clear: every detail matters. Keep records from day one, grading again. Stands as the cornerstone. PCGs and NGC maintain population reports, detailing how many coins exist at each grade. When you see population 1 or population 2 on your label, understand that you are holding near singularity rarity, so extreme it defines its own market. At that level, buyers compete not just for ownership but for legacy. They want their name recorded beside the coin in catalogs and archives. So when future collectors raid the history, they see lineage and prestige combined. The next question every collector asks once they realize what they own is where to sell such a treasure. The answer depends on patience and trust, heritage auctions and stacks. Bowers remain the premier venues in the United States. Both offer expert cataloging, global marketing, and secure transaction environments. They photograph each coin under museum-grade lighting, write professional descriptions, and distribute catalogs to serious buyers worldwide. For something like the 1984 piece silver transitional $50, such exposure guarantees bidding wars that push values into 7 or 8 digits. Alternatively, Great Collections offers online flexibility and competitive commissions, ideal for collectors who prefer digital presence. But regardless of platform authenticity and grading drive results, every auctioneer will tell you, certified sells, higher raw sells. Slower always certify first. Those who prefer private deals can consult recognized dealers, members of the Professional Numismatists Guild or American Numismatic Association. These networks ensure integrity and insurance coverage because one mistake in shipment or documentation can cost fortunes. Reputable dealers arrange armored transport-insured shipments and escrow systems for multi-million-dollar coins, ensuring both parties are protected. The emotional impact of such sales cannot be overstated. When the hammer falls or the transfer completes, sellers often cry not from loss, but from gratitude. They realize they've become part of numismatic history, their name etched into catalogs forever, and buyers often display the coin in controlled lighting sealed cases where museum visitors can admire perfection without touching it. Some donate their specimens to institutions, ensuring immortality beyond wealth. For those still searching, remember, knowledge is your weapon. Study every specification, memorize the metrics. Diameter 30.6 millimeters, thickness 2.15 millimeters, weight 11.3 4 grams, composition copper nickel clad, unless error reveals silver. Observe edges, weigh precisely, record observations. Repeat analysis until instinct sharpens into expertise, because fortune favors the prepared mind. And if you wonder how to begin, join communities, forums, social groups, attend coin shows, ask questions, hold coins, compare tones. Train your eyes to recognize genuine mint luster versus artificial polish, because grading begins with seeing, not guessing. Learn from PCG's tutorials, NGC, resources, and heritage archives, because information builds intuition. Intuition finds rarity, and rarity builds legacy. This coin, the 1984 P. Kennedy $50, unites past and future. It reminds us that even in an age of mass production, miracles still occur when machines err, when humans oversee with carelessness. Destiny writes its poetry in metal. Each silver strike from 1984. A stanza of that poem, and when you finally hold such a Coin, you feel the weight of history. Heavier than 11 grams, the energy of stories. Heavier than silver itself, the reflection of Kennedy staring back reminds you that greatness can emerge from mistakes that beauty often hides in, errors that value comes not only from rarity but from meaning, so to everyone. Watching on World Rare Coin, open your drawers, your boxes, your mint sets. The next fortune might rest inside plastic untouched for 40 years. Weigh your halves. Test your edges. Listen to their ring, silver sings. Longer than copper. Remember that sound, it could be the song of destiny. And if this story inspires you, press like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to World Rare Coin, because the next video will take you even deeper into the mysteries of American numismatics, where ordinary change becomes priceless history. Stay curious, stay hopeful, and never stop searching, because somewhere out there another forgotten half-dollar waits to be discovered, shining quietly in the dark, ready to rewrite the story once more. The legend of the 1984 P. Kennedy half-dollar grows stronger with every retelling, because the line between myth and fact blurs beautifully in the light of silver. Each collector who encounters it feels the same electric pulse, the thought that something so small could change destiny. The truth is that coins are living witnesses to human history. Every scratch, every luster break, every microscopic imperfection is a fingerprint of time when you tilt this coin under the lamp and see the mirrored field shimmer. You understand why numismatists call it the heartbeat of American minting, because it captures an era where art met error and created immortality. Those who chase the rare Kennedy halves soon learn that knowledge, and discipline forge discovery. Start with research, dive into mint reports for 1984. Learn production totals. Analyze die marriages, study photographs of known examples. Notice the subtlety in the letters of liberty, the curvature of the 2 in the date, the slope of the R in trust. When you memorize these elements, you begin to see patterns that others overlook. Every discovery in numismatics begins not with luck, but with trained eyes that can recognize difference at a glance. Rare is also the emotional connection this coin carries, because it bears the face of a man who symbolized hope for a generation. When John F. Kennedy's portrait was chosen for the half-dollar, it became more than currency. It became remembrance. So when a rare variant like the 1984 silver error appears, it feels almost poetic, as if history itself wanted the memory of Kennedy to gleam brighter. One more time, the collectors who hold it feel they are holding not just wealth, but the echo of optimism, resilience, and courage. The same values that inspired the nation in the 60s. Now imagine the quiet moment after you discover such a piece. The world slows, the coin rests in your palm, and you feel its cold, whispering weight. You remember every story you heard, every video you watched, every detail you studied, and suddenly you realize you are living the dream that others only imagine. That emotion will carry you through the entire grading process. The anticipation, the fear, the hope. Each day you refresh, tracking. Each night you visualize that plastic slab arriving sealed and shining. The label reading 1984 P. Kennedy half-dollar transitional silver planchet. Mrs. 68 population 1. The kind of label that sends ripples through the collector community, because population 1 means absolute rarity. Once that certification arrives, the world opens doors. Dealers call auction houses, email curators, inquire journalists, want interviews. Your discovery becomes headline material, and yet the responsibility increases because preservation now matters more than ever. Climate control, insurance, documentation, and discreet handling become essential. You are now custodian of American history, and the way you care for that coin determines how the story will be told. Decades from now, let's talk. Preservation. Deeper silver, though strong, is sensitive to environment. Humidity causes toning, sulfur causes haze. Never store your coin in PVC flips, because Chemicals leach into metal, causing permanent damage. Instead, use mylar or archival capsules. Keep silica gel in storage to absorb moisture. Maintain consistent temperature between 60 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Handle with cotton gloves. Never. Bare skin always support the coin by its edge. Never by the face, and when you photograph it, use diffuse light. Not direct flash, because reflection hides detail. These little habits transform you from owner to conservator and serious buyers. Notice the selling journey of such a coin mirrors a rite of passage. You contact heritage auctions or stacks. Bowers, their specialists, schedule appointments, sometimes flying to examine your piece in person. They inspect under magnification. Compare to population. Data verify certification and discuss strategy. Should it headline a major auction or feature in a thematic collection? Exhibit. Each decision carries financial and historical impact. The catalog writers compose poetic descriptions, detailing provenance, discovery, and grading significance. These words will accompany your coin, forever printed in glossy pages distributed worldwide. Then comes the photography phase, specialized macro lenses. Capture the glow, the subtle hairlines, the frost on Kennedy's cheek when the catalog releases your coin, shines across pages of collector's dream. Auction day arrives. Bright lights, glass displays, cameras flashing. The auctioneer reads your lot number. Voices echo bids. Climb numbers. Rise from 500,000 to 1,000,000 to 2 to 5, until the crowd holds its breath. Phones buzz. The internet feed explodes. A final bidder lifts his paddle. 15 million. The hammer falls. Applause fills the hall. You close your eyes, not from disbelief but from gratitude, because you know this coin carried you through time and knowledge into legacy. After the sale, your name becomes part of provenance. Every future catalog will list X World Rare Coin Collection. Next to the coin's description, a signature of authenticity and passion that future generations will respect, because provenance tells story and story multiplies value. Many collectors chase not only rarity, but history of ownership. Who found it? Who cared for it? Who told its tale? You have now entered that lineage, joining centuries of numismatists who turned curiosity into immortality beyond money. The greatest reward is community collectors around the world reach out, sharing excitement, photos, discoveries. Friendships form through forums and shows. Knowledge flows freely. That connection becomes priceless, because coins bring people together across borders and decades, reminding everyone that value is not just measured in currency, but in curiosity and collaboration. For those still searching, remember the specifications: diameter 30.6 millimeters, thickness 2.15 millimeters, weight 11.34 grams, composition copper nickel clad. Unless the gods of minting smiled upon your luck and gave you silver. Instead, look for the missing copper stripe along the rim, that solid silver edge that sings when tapped lightly. Listen for the long ring silver hums, while clad dulls. That melody can be the sound of your future. So test carefully and never dismiss a simple coin until proven ordinary. Study the grading scales too. Mint state 60 to 70 proof, like deep cameo designations. Each step on that ladder multiplies price. Understand how pWhy photographs and encapsulates coins. Learn the submission process, the costs, the turnaround times, and the insurance coverage, because professionalism in submission attracts respect in sale. Collectors recognize diligence and reward it with trust. And as technology evolves, grading companies experiment with digital fingerprints, holographic tags, and blockchain records, ensuring each slab remains tamper-proof. The next generation of numismatics will live in both physical and digital realms. But the heart will always remain tangible metal shining under light, reminding humanity that history can be held. Now take a moment, close your eyes. Imagine the coin resting in a museum case, your name engraved on a small plaque beneath it. visitors whispering awe, children pressing faces to glass, historians discussing, metallurgical reports, photographers capturing the gleam. That image will travel across magazines and screens, inspiring new collectors to start their journeys. That inspiration is your legacy, the continuation of passion that began with curiosity and ended with legend. And as we near the close of this chapter, remember that every great collector begins with a single act, looking closer at what others ignore. Somewhere in America, a box of old mint sets still lies untouched, perhaps in an attic, perhaps in a thrift store, perhaps in your own family, waiting for eyes patient enough to see the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. The next $15 million discovery may already exist, just waiting for recognitions. To every viewer of World Rare Coin, this is your invitation. Start searching, weigh your halves, study your edges, learn your luster. Respect the art of grading and share your discoveries with the community. Like this video if it sparked your curiosity. Comment your favorite Kennedy year and subscribe to World Rare Coin, because every week we unveil new mysteries hidden within American currency. The stories you hear here are more than entertainment. They are maps guiding you toward your own discovery. And as this tale closes, remember that the 1984 Kennedy half-dollar is more than silver, more than value. It is proof that miracles hide in mistakes, that patience turns metal into fortune, and that every coin collector is part of an unbroken story stretching from the first mint strike to the next discovery. Keep watching, keep learning, and never stop believing that the next coin you hold could be the one that changes everything forever.